Hey, thanks for coming. Who's in the chat already? See if I recognize anyone. Welcome, Cosma. Keith? You guys were here first last time, I think. Welcome. We'll get started with the actual class at the top of the hour, so about 20 minutes from now. Welcome. Where's everyone watching from? I see the first person who came in said they're watching from Sweden. That's pretty cool. I'd like to go there someday. Good afternoon from LA, California. Yes, it is a good afternoon. Let's see. It's Peachy. Not sure why that came out so excited. Peachy, yes. Florida? I'm still drowsy. I only slept for 4 hours. Ouch. That was me yesterday, actually. No, I slept a lot, but I guess I didn't sleep well. I don't know. Maybe I've got some problem. I didn't sleep very well. So I was so tired yesterday, and then I just couldn't do anything else. So I had to take a nap. So I took a nap yesterday for 3 hours. Still tired after I woke up from the nap. But last night I slept pretty good. I slept 9 hours last night, and I feel better today. Kenora, love the podcast. Thanks. What did you like about it? Because I'm still, figuring things out. Yes, Peachy. Houston, UK, Hawaii. You have to say it like that or they ban you from the island, I heard. Las Vegas. Las Vegas has, what was the name of it? Was it Top Sushi? There was some amazing all-you-can-eat sushi place. I think it was in Henderson or something like that. Not on the Vegas Strip. It was $30 all you could eat, and the sushi quality was pretty good. I remember this was probably 5 years ago. The format of the podcast is great. Looking forward to the upcoming episodes. Thanks. Yeah, there's one more coming out this week. So you're going to be a little bit spoiled for the first 3 episodes because I wanted to put them out quickly so you can get a feel for what the podcast is. But going forward, they're only going to be every 2 weeks. The reason is they take a lot of time to plan and edit. So I think if I calculated that if I rush as fast as I can write, film, and edit and do subtitling and post and all that stuff for one episode. It's 4 full days. Although the original ones I'm doing, these first 3 took longer than that, each one, because, they're the first ones. I'm figuring out stuff. But going forward, I think it's going to be about 4 to 5 days per episode. So that's almost an entire week. Just if you consider take out 2 days more for me preparing for for the live stream and other stuff that I have to do. And then that's every single other day of that week would be preparing for the podcast. So I can't do it every week, but it'll be bi-weekly going forward. There's so many great Asian restaurants here. Yeah, definitely. There were a lot. I also had a really good, oh gosh, what was that? It was a Taiwanese noodle place or something also that was really good. When I stopped trying to get buffets in Vegas, I realized there's a lot of other better food there. I used to like when I was younger, I used to going to Vegas because it's easy to go there. You can just drive there, Hotels were dirt cheap. Buffets were super cheap. You could get an all-you-can-eat buffet for $30, right? And even cheaper if you go back, to the early 2000s. But anyway, even just 10, 15 years ago, you had a good buffet, good cheap hotel. You could find a hotel on the Strip, including the resort fee and everything for under $50 a night. It's who doesn't want it? It's ridiculous not to go at that point. But now it's they charge you for parking. That was the first thing. They started charging for parking. As soon as they did that, I'm okay, they're done. They lost the tourist destination. Now it's more business destination. I think people go there for conventions and stuff. That's how they're still around, I think. But then they got rid of the cheap buffets. So I'm what's the point? The buffets weren't amazing food. It was it was a trick to get you to go to Vegas so that you would spend money gambling. My guess, though, is fewer people are spending money doing that nowadays just because there are so many places you could do that. So they have to kind of make up their money somewhere. They can't accept making a little bit less money. Still making tons of money, but they can't accept a little bit less, so they have to raise that price. And it's why go there just to be nickel and dime to breathe? I don't know. I haven't been back there in a few years, though. But the last time I did go back there, which I think was 4 or 5 years ago, it was to get other food. We didn't get a buffet this time or anything. And yeah, it was actually better and cheaper too. Keith says, my favorite parts are the listening practice, surprise guests, but the whole production's great. Thanks. Yeah, I'm figuring out what sorts of segments I want to keep going forward. Do I want to continue all of the segments I have, like the exact format? I never intended it to be exactly that format for every episode, but that's what I'm doing so far. I have the first 3 episodes are already like that. I'm working on the 4th, 5th, and 6th episode, actually, and 7th episode as we speak. I don't have guests for all of them. I need another guest for one of them. I'm still trying to find. But anyway, but as I do some more episodes, we'll figure out which parts people like the most, and I'll try to emphasize those going forward. I have a lot more ideas, though, than I've shown. I've just shown, like, listening practice, word of the day. What else? Oh, yeah, there's a hidden Korean, like a grammar section. There's the guest segment. There's the beginning segment. There's an ending segment. There's a couple advertisement segments, which it's just for my Patreon and stuff. But I have 5 other segment ideas I haven't shown off yet. I don't know if we'll get there, but south of England. Oh, I missed one. Germany. That's cool. Someone said south of England, a little country in the UK. Slovenia. I've heard of Slovenia. I haven't heard of the city name you told me. Billy, in Hawaii, you say the W with a V. Hawaii. Ah, okay, so it's not just Hawaii. I'm sorry, I almost got banned from the country a second time. Hawaii. Like that? There we go. Now I'm, hopefully I almost said president of Hawaii. The governor of Hawaii will let me back in now after that. I saw there's a bit of delay on the TV and the sound of the person you're talking to. No, that's not something I can fix, unfortunately. I'm aware of that. It's simply because the way the TV connects into the computer to become a second monitor is literally just directly it's like directly out of the computer from the HDMI into the TV. So I don't know if there's any way that could be fixed. Maybe if I purchased like a really expensive HDMI to I think it's RCA converter. If there's like a high quality HDMI to RCA, that might fix it with no delay. But I can't add a delay because it's a delay of the audio. And I could delay the audio. Like I can make one or the other match. And if I wanted to, I really could tweak it and make it so that it matches in both cases through editing. But it would be a lot of work just the way that I edit. So I figured, you know what? I know most people don't know what we're talking about. Most people that aren't looking at like the lips really closely in that shot because it's far away. I figured at least let's have it sync when it's full screen. So yeah, but there isn't really anything I can do about that I know of. This is my first live class after studying for a year. Well, welcome back. Hopefully this can help motivate you a little bit. 안녕하세요, 빌리 선생님. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome, Lexica. It's always good to have you. Self-teaching Korean didn't work. Should I get into a class with a teacher in a classroom? You might want that. Or a tutor that can at least throw you things that you can learn next. I feel like a lot of the problem with self-teaching, while self-teaching works great, and it's how I learned Korean, it's how probably most people I know who speak Korean well learn from self-teaching. The problem with it is it takes a lot of motivation that has to come from somewhere. And if you're not getting motivation from your friends or people you can practice with, that you can speak with, you need someone like to help you, kind of just to keep going, like to tell you, no, you're doing good. Like, don't stop here. You might think you're getting bored of it. You're making good progress. Like, you need someone to kind of tell you that sometimes. And I think a tutor could work for that. You could do, I would still say you can do self-study, but you might want to have a tutor to kind of push you to do it. Like, they would be the person who gives you the next assignment to do, or asks you what you're learning and finds questions that you have and kind of helps to answer them. When you feel like stressed, like, oh, this is so hard, they can be just someone to tell you, yeah, you're right. It's okay, but you can do it. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to get a tutor, even if you just met someone like once a week for 30 minutes or twice a week for 30 minutes. And I think that amount is pretty affordable. So you can still do self-study. Alternatively, if you live somewhere with a large community, a Korean community, you'll have access to classes, probably. But those classes may or may not be good. If you're outside of Korea, you might not have an option. It might be like something really basic. If you're in Korea, you do have a lot of options though. So yeah, if you were in Korea, I would say like just take a class. If you're living in Korea, take Korean class. How are you up so early? It's not early here. Lexica, don't scare away the new people. Hi, Jenny. We're chaotic but friendly. We are not chaotic. We are very calm and orderly. Don't scare them away. I honestly just enjoyed you trying something new. I really like the podcast so far. Cool. Yeah, I enjoy making them. They're pretty fun. I like having the set. If I had not done a fundraiser for the set and just done a podcast, I don't think I would enjoy making it that much just because of how much work it takes. But because I have this nice set that we all built together, and it's pretty easy to set up. I can get ready to film in less than an hour, which is great. It takes me like 3 hours, 4 hours to get ready for normal videos, just to set up the room and move everything around. But the set's already here. So all I do is I position the lights and everything else is good. My cousins from South Korea are going to visit us soon. Nice. We could speak in our native language because they speak it, but still, it would be nice to, it'd be nice to say something, right? I need someone to help me correct my pronunciation. Yeah. I mean, for that sort of thing, a tutor would be good. I wish that I had a system for like getting referrals for telling people to get a tutor. I don't make any money from it, but a tutor is good in that way, like just someone to help motivate you. And I would disagree. I think this is one thing I would actually disagree with most. I don't know if I would say most tutors. Many tutors would probably say, get someone who's really good, get someone who knows how to teach, get someone with experience. And I would disagree in the fact that I would say you probably don't need a good tutor to have a effective tutor. Like, sure, if you have thousands of dollars burning a hole in your pocket, then get the best tutor you can afford. But I think most of what we need tutors for is just like for me, if I was trying to learn Korean, all I would really want is someone to be like, there, Billy, you're doing okay. Like, yeah, all right, now let's try this thing next. Here, I want you to do this before next week. Like, that's all I really want. And that doesn't really take someone with experience to do, right? It could just be any rando that's native in Korean. They could do that. Like, someone just to ask me in Korean, 오늘 뭐 했어요? 오늘 뭐 먹었어요? 와, 어때요? Like just to ask me these basic questions to make me use my Korean. They don't have to be able to explain stuff to me even, I think. Like if I ask them a question about something, it would be cool just to have someone to talk with me and tell me, I actually don't know that. 잘 모르겠는데요. 저도 뭐 생각해 본 적 없네요. Like that's fine with me, because not the point of a tutor, but the most beneficial part, I think, of a tutor is just to have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, someone to kind of help motivate you. So with that, like I said, this is my opinion. It differs, I think, than not everyone, but many other teachers. I would just say, get the cheapest person you can find that seems nice. Watch their intro video and say, does this person seem like I would like to talk with them? Message them, book the class and say, I only want you to speak Korean to me. Like, don't use me as English practice. Because some tutors would do that. They're like, hey, I'm getting paid to teach Korean and I get to speak English while I teach it. No. You want someone that's just going to use Korean. Maybe someone that doesn't like English. Like, they really don't want to use English because they're embarrassed about their English. Like, get that kind of tutor. And those will be the cheapest ones. Those will be like $10-15 per hour types of tutors. And you could get, or even if they're $10 for 30 minutes, you can do twice a week or 3 times a week for that. Just someone to kind of help keep you motivated, or get 2 of them, one on Tuesdays and one on Thursdays, and I that's what I would go for. And anyone coming here for the first time, if it's your very first time here, we always just talk about whatever before the top of the hour, and then that's when we'll start the class. Okay, let me just check here. You motivate me so much. I'm moving to Korea in January. It's going to be cold. It's going to be really cold in January. I'm going to be taking 2 semesters at, Seogang is great. That's my, that's the one I'd recommend. Number 1, Seogang. Plan on staying in Korea long term. So nervous. You're gonna like Sogang because that's the one that encourages you to practice the language. They encourage you to make other friends who are Korean, and the other ones don't have that as much. So I feel like any university you go to, you're gonna have a good time for learning Korean. But Sogang is gonna be a little bit better because of that. Like they kind of push you a little bit more to do speaking, whereas the other ones are kind of pushing you more to focus on the actual, like learn the grammar and stuff, which is good too. But I think most people, what they need is going to be that push to do more speaking. You don't need motivation. You need discipline and consistency. Gaze, I mean, it's correct. If you can get yourself to just do just start studying for 1 minute, you're going to be able to motivate yourself to keep going for like 30 minutes or an hour or something. So you do at a certain point, you do need an amount of discipline, not just motivation. You need that discipline to actually start doing it. Books can't teach sound. That's true. You need audio files. Like the book itself won't teach you the sound. Talk to Me in Korean speaking books are also good for pronunciation. Plenty of audio files. Yeah, as long as a book has audio files, that's fine. How many episodes will your podcast have before it ends? I don't have an end date. Hopefully, I hope that's good news. But I have like milestones for what I'm going for. Like I'm gonna do at least 10 episodes before I think about the format. Like I'm gonna try this format for 10 episodes and see how it goes. But I don't have an end. So who knows? Hundreds, maybe. As long as people are watching them. The only reason I would end it per se would be as if people told me like collectively, okay, Billy, we got to talk. This podcast's not working out. Then we can work it and change and everything. But no, I don't have an end date planned. Okay, let me check it. I'll make sure I can answer any questions before we start with the actual lesson. Download a lot of Korean videos on my phone. Nice. 1,390. Chess in Korean. Okay. Make sure to get plenty of those chess videos. I took classes at the University of Stockholm for a year. Okay. Nice. Language Reactor, Google plugin with Netflix. Okay. I'm learning the language to make new friends and be able to travel. Nice. Stockholm University is the only university in Sweden that has Korean classes. Okay. Billy, do you know any kids programs I can watch? Yeah, get Netflix and they have a kids mode on there and get a VPN. I don't have a referral code to give you, but just get any VPN and Netflix, and you might need to get a dedicated VPN, like an IP for that, because they usually try to block the general ones. So you might not be able to do it with some of the VPN services. But yeah, do that and then log in for Korea in the kids mode. You'll have plenty of Korean kids shows to watch. That's what my kid watches. That's what Jeremy watches. We have him on a VPN with Netflix Korea, and then he logs in. He watches Doraemon, which is not a Korean show, but they have Korean dubbing, so it's good enough. And he also watches, they have like a kids ghost animation called Shinbi Aparte. I think they have it in English, Shinbi's Apartment or something like that. But anyway, yeah. And then he watches they also have some YouTubers that have kind of the shows in Netflix on Korea. Also, Disney Plus is another one, because Disney Plus in the US is really just like Star Wars, Simpsons, Marvel and Frozen and all that stuff. But in Korea, Disney Plus is a service that I think a lot more adults use. They have a lot more, a bigger variety of content for Disney in Korea than they do in the US. Since there wouldn't be, Koreans wouldn't really care that much about Star Wars and stuff like we do in the States. It's just not as big over there. So they kind of make up for that with other content. So yeah, either of those two I would try. Yeah, Nord works fine. Not a sponsorship. Yeah, I'm sure there are other ones that work as well. There's actually a Korean language center in a city close to my hometown. Nice. We're getting robbed by Disney Plus. Yeah, that's the thing is, I can't say this. Just infer what I might be thinking. Give us the Korean content. Yeah. We'll get started with the lesson in just 2 minutes. In the meantime, the lesson today we're going to be learning about is intermediate level, but I'll explain it simply no matter what your level is. But if you really want to follow along with it, make sure you know how to use 밖에 and man to say like only. Like if you say like 한 개밖에 없어요, like I only have one, or 한 개만 있어요. I'll actually be doing another lesson about these two specifically, maybe next week or the week after. But in the meantime, if you already know these, you'll be really ready for today's lesson. If you don't already know these, you can still take notes for today's lesson. Disney Plus puts Korean content on Hulu in the US. That's correct. That makes sense because they own it. But the Disney Plus in Korea will still have content that Hulu doesn't have, from my understanding. When do you think you became fluent? Probably after a couple of years. Do you recommend K-pop Demon Hunters? For the music, yeah, it has great songs. You'll like the songs. The story is very weak and has a lot of plot holes. Like, I can't spoil it, so I won't spoil it. Or I don't even know if it's a spoiler, because it's like... Anyway, I won't spoil anything. But yeah, the music makes it good. It's like... It's kind of like Frozen. Okay, no one hate me, please, but I don't think Frozen's that great of a movie. 1 or 2. I think that the songs are wonderful, but I think the movie... Like, if you take out the songs from, say, Aladdin, it's still a cool movie, right? If pretend that they have no singing and you just watch the story, it's cool. Little Mermaid, it's okay. Hercules, okay. Like you can think of these, Mulan, cool. Frozen, it's kind of weak. I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters is kind of in the same level. It's like, okay, it's a story, stuff happens, it has, characters, but the music makes up for it plenty. And I think there are like 5 songs in Frozen. No, in K-pop Demon Hunters, 4 or 5, like really good songs that you don't really care. You don't really care about the story that much. That when you remember, oh yeah, there was a story after each song, then yeah, I'd say it's worth watching. I enjoyed it, and I don't really care for that kind of movie. And my kid liked it, and he doesn't really care for that type of movie very much. Mikey. For the first on the board, it's Mike E. I can't seem to fix the name. It's not just you. YouTube changed the way that they display names. So, but yes, thank you, Mikey. Mikey. Mikey gets our first name. I'm going to do dabs. I haven't done dabbing in a while. We'll get started with the lesson. 5 dabs for $5. Thank you. Let me really quickly check if I'm missing anything. Careful Disney lawyers are no joke. I'm sure they're not going to go after me for saying I didn't care that much for the storyline. I'm still promoting their movies, so it should break even. But yeah, just my opinion. Like I said, no shade if you actually like the story. I totally get it. Same goes with Frozen. I totally get it if you really like the story. But it needs a prequel or something like that to explain more of the story. I actually like that they didn't. Personally, I think it's better just like jump in. Like, do you want them to try to explain it? That's like the biggest plot hole in the movie was like that it didn't make any sense who they were or what they're doing or how they got started. It's just here they are. They seal the demon world with the Hunmoon, and they've been doing it for generations with different people and blah, blah, blah. Here you go. Like, I think that's good enough. I don't really want to know about John Wick's impossible task. I don't want to know about that. It's cool. Just go into it. We don't care. We're just watching this for fun. But anyway, yeah. Okay, if I get $1,000 in this live stream, will you tell us every plan for every... Sure. I think it's one of the best animated movies I've seen recently. I think the animation is fantastic. Now, I thought it was kind of funny, though, because I watched it in Korean, because of course, I've got to watch it in Korean, right? It's actually kind of wrong. Like, there's some things in the movie that are not correct Korean. Not the language. It was dubbed by voice actors in Korea. But like a lot of the mouth movements don't match. And a lot of the things they say don't match their expressions because it was made in California, I believe. And then it was made for a Western audience originally by a Western team. So I was kind of confused. I'm like, how come their mouths don't really match? Or how come their faces are like this, but their voices are like that? So some stuff doesn't match. It's definitely made for being watched in English. But yeah, then some of the stuff that they do is like a little bit not quite Korean. Like there's some mistakes. I actually talk about that in the upcoming podcast episode. The one that you're going to get on this Thursday talks about dokkaebi. Now, no shade against K-pop Demon Hunters, but I actually talk about, very briefly, I mentioned them at the end, but the goblins in K-pop Demon Hunter are their own thing. They're not a Korean goblin, but I mentioned that in the episode, and I talk about some other like Korean mythology and stuff. It's a mythology episode coming up on Thursday. Okay, gotta get started with the lesson. So we're gonna be talking about a new particle, and that is bun. And a particle simply goes after a noun, but this one can also go after verbs. So we'll talk about both in this lesson. Now, what it is this particle means only or just. But it doesn't only just mean only and just. It's more like I think this pen's also dying. Only and nothing more. Like that's all it is, only. Or just and nothing else. It's just that and it's nothing else. It's just that. Kind of like that. So this particle, because it has that meaning of like only and nothing more, it has more emphasis on the meaning of only than the particle man, which also means only. Like if you were to say, like, I only eat rice, and you were to use it with man, it just means only. But if you were to say it with bun, it's like, and nothing else. That's all I eat. That sort of meaning. So it has more emphasis than just using man, but it also means only. This particle, there is a really simple tip I can give you for how you can understand the feeling of this particle. If you already know some Korean, if you already know how to speak Korean, there's another word that has a kind of similar, very similar nuance as this particle. And that is the adverb 그냥. Now, 그냥 is actually an informal or sometimes casual, but it's informal. It's an adverb that you can use to mean it's just. Like, 뭐 그냥 있지. 그냥 좋아해. You know, I just like it. But 그냥 is kind of used for like, it's just that. Like, don't even worry about it. It's just that. You know, just like that sort of just meaning. This has that same nuance. However, while 그냥 is only for informal usage as well as casual usage, bun has no such nuance. Bun can be used in any level, like formal, informal, whatever. However, because 그냥 is casual or informal, this can be used everywhere. bun is less common. So bun is less commonly used than man or 그냥. So you'll see it less. It has more of a fancy, more of a written feel. So you'll see bun and you'll hear bun used less in everyday conversation than other particles like man or adverbs like 그냥. Okay. Hey, Lexica, thank you. Hold on, let me erase this so I can write Lexica's name here. Lexica. Minute 7. Okay, Lexica, gotta give you your dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me check the chat really quick. 안녕하세요. 오늘 처음으로 수업을 실시간으로 듣고 있어요. K-pop Demon Hunters will have a sequel in 2029. Oh, you bet it's going to have a sequel. You bet. They already announced it though. Golden sounds pretty good to me. It's actually the song that made me curious about the movie itself. Yeah, I think the this is what it sounds like also is really good. I think you'd like that too. They have Takedown is also okay. But in the movie, I think it's better than just the song because it matches with the story. how it's presented. Like they make it for another. I won't spoil it, but anyway, I think that works in the good in the movie. But I'd probably say Golden would be the best one, and then This Is What It Sounds Like would be my number two. But yeah, I mean they're really good songs that I think make the movie better. Do they really show the kimbap? They eat kimbap in the movie, yeah. K-pop Demon Hunters is this time's Harry Potter. You get gasps if you say you haven't watched it. I see what you mean. I might compare it more to like the newer generation's Frozen. Just my opinion, because it is like a movie where it hinges all on its songs. And that if it wasn't a musical, no one would really care much about it. But being a musical just makes it like, 10 times better. Does Disney own? No, it's Netflix. I was gonna say if Disney owned it, would have then K-pop Demon Hunters would be Disney princesses, but no, it's a Netflix, which was Sony that sold it to Netflix, and I'm sure they're like kicking themselves for doing that. But whatever, their loss. They even put it in theaters, yeah, for like a week or a few days or something, right? It was really short, just to do the sing-along. I don't know how it would have been received if it went to theaters in the first place. I think the reason why so many people watched it is just because it was free. Like you can, I'll just watch it. Sure, I'm not interested in it, but I'll check it out. And then you watch it, you're like, oh, these songs are great. I don't know if it would have gotten that good of a reception if it went straight to theaters. Although I'm sure they're going to put, which is the reason I also think that is because if it did, they would have re-released it in theaters for longer than just a few days when they did the musical. I don't know if they're going to do a theatrical release for the sequel though. But anyway. Okay, let's see. So, bun can be used by itself after a noun, but it can be used at the end of a sentence by attaching ida. So like bun ieu, for example, if it's at the end of a sentence. So that would be like it is only, or it is just. But you could also just use it by itself in the middle of a sentence, just like the regular particle man, like only that. It can be used after both nouns, and it can also be used after verbs, which I'll talk about in a bit. So, it can also be used like 밖에, with a negative verb to mean only. This is less common, but you could also use it like this. So you could have bun or bun이, like 하나 bun이 없어요, like that. Less common, but you also might see it used like 밖에, with a negative verb to mean only something. But we won't be doing examples of that for today. Okay, so that's just the introduction to bun. So let's actually learn how to use it then. I hope you're ready for this really long explanation. The way it works with a noun is you take a noun, and the first step, there are 10 steps. The first step you do is you attach bun. No, that's the 10th step. So yeah, so we're done. This is all you have to do. You just take a noun, you attach bun, and you're done. And then again, you can use ida if it's at the end of a sentence. Pretty easy, right? Let's do an example sentence. I like when stuff's easy like that. Bun. I haven't watched Mafaz? I haven't watched Lord of the Rings. In 2025? Thou hast not foreseen the movies? Watched Lord of the Rings? Dear God. You can skip The Hobbit. I mean, it's like enjoyable, but it was kind of a letdown. But Lord of the Rings, you should watch them. I would say just watch the theatrical version. They're pretty good. That's all I can say is you should probably watch them. I don't know, they might not be for you, but you should still give them a chance. Okay, sorry about that distraction. Okay, 이제, so now, 하다, to do. So 할 수 있다, I can do. So 할 수 있는 것은, 건, the thing that I can do now, 이에요, is, 기도 is prayer or pray, 분, only. So all I can do now is pray, literally. But since 분 has the nuance of saying like only and nothing else, or nothing more, just and nothing else, it's kind of like saying all I can do now is pray. Or the only thing I can do now is just praying and nothing else. Like that's all I have that I can do right now is pray. Like all I can do now is pray. Like that sort of emphasis. Not the only thing that I can do now is pray. It's not that, but it's like all I can do now and nothing else. It's like, yeah, there's nothing else I can do, you know? All I can do now is pray, is what it means. 이제 할 수 있는 건 기도뿐이에요. 이제 할 수 있는 건 기도뿐이에요. I've seen all the Harry Potter ones. Okay. I mean, I watched all those because they went to the Dollar Theater. I don't think I would have. I wasn't really a big Harry Potter fan, but I did watch them all as well. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or the Hunger Games. Dear God. Star Wars? Okay. Come on. Watch the original trilogy. In fact, you'll have a good chance because next year they're going to be releasing, I think February or January or February. Yeah, I think February. The original theatrical A New Hope movie. As in, the title crawl doesn't even say A New Hope. I think, yeah, because he didn't know he was going to be making multiples after for the first one, and there are like so many glitches in the movie, like weird bugs and stuff. The originals are coming back to theater, and they've only announced the first one, but it's already been leaked that, I mean, the other two are coming as well, probably. But at least the original one's coming out, I believe, February. So you could probably watch it then. Hunger Games are fun. Like, turn off your brain and just watch them. I like all of them. There's a new one coming out also. So far there are 4, and then there's a 5th one coming out, which I'm looking forward to. They released the trailer to that last month. It looks good. So I'm going to see that too. I think that's November next year. Let's see. I think they're just saying they don't have a television or a method to go to a theater. Okay. Next sentence. Okay. 어제, yesterday. 하루 종일, all day long. So yesterday, all day long. 먹은 것. So 먹은 것은, the thing that I ate yesterday all day long was, was 밥, white rice, or just plain cooked rice. 한 그릇, one bowl of rice. 분, all I had yesterday all day was just one bowl of rice, implying, and nothing else. 분, 어제 하루 종일 먹은 건 밥 한 그릇뿐이었어요. all I ate yesterday all day was one bowl of rice and nothing else. All I had yesterday was just a single bowl of rice, is what it means. You're not just saying the only thing that I ate yesterday was one bowl of rice. Literally, you're saying that, but it has the nuance of like, and that was it, and nothing else. Like, really, only. So it just has more emphasis on that meaning of only than just using 만. 어제 하루 종일 먹은 건 밥 한 그릇뿐이었어요. Let's do one more sentence for this, and then let's go on to using this with verbs. Okay. 너뿐이야. It is only you. What is only you? 나를 믿다. 믿어주다. To believe. So, 준 건. The person or thing that believed me is only you. You are the only person who believed me. 날 믿어준 건 너뿐이야. You're the only one who believed me, implying, and no one else. Like, only you believed me is basically what it means. 나를 믿어준 건 너뿐이야. 나를 믿어준 건 너뿐이야. You're the only one who trusted me. Like that. Yeah, I'll leave this up for just a few seconds and then we'll go on to the next section. Is it for a Star Wars anniversary? I believe it's for the... Oh, you know what? I think it's right. I think they're putting it up on May 20th for the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. I think that makes sense, which is why... Oh, and it's not next year. I apologize. It's not next year. It's 2027 now that I think of it, because the original was 77. Yeah, it's... Sorry, I said next year. I said next year, February. It's actually 2027 in May. May 20th, I believe. Yeah. You can watch Star Wars before that, or you can put it on your calendar. Either way, you should watch Star Wars. I mean, it's a classic. Just watch the originals. Don't do the special edition. Don't do the one on Disney Plus. Don't do the Blu-ray. None of that. None of that. Just get the original. I've seen Hunger Games, but personally, it's Divergent over Hunger Games any day. I haven't seen Divergent. I can't fight you. Can you say 믿어준 분? Well, 분 would be honorific. You could say 사람. But if you were to say 분, it's implying that there are other people you're referring to who you want to be extra respectful toward. But if you're saying no, you wouldn't compare them with a 분, because that's like among the people, the 분 that did it, that believe me, was you, no, which is not honorific. So it wouldn't match. You wouldn't need to say 분 in that case. Sounds like a more dramatic way of saying only. That sounds about right. I don't know if dramatic is the best word, but emphasized, it could be more dramatic. But yeah, it has more emphasis. If you're using it in a dramatic sentence, then yeah, it's dramatic. But it itself is just more emphasized. Okay, you can also use 분 with verbs. And the way it works is very simple. You take a verb stem, you attach if that verb stem ends with a consonant, or you attach a lir if it ends with a vowel, or if it ends with the stem lir also. You just leave it. And then you do 분 with a space. That's pretty much it. Now, the verb stem can be a regular verb stem, like 하다 can become 할, 먹다 can become 먹을, like that. Or it could also be a past tense verb stem. So I'll just put PT. If you do a past tense verb stem, that might look something like this. Like 하다 will become normally 했어요, right? Well, the past tense stem is as soon as you get to these two letters, everything at the end gets chopped off. And then you apply the same rule, in which case it's always going to be because it's always going to end in this, which is always a consonant. So it's 했을 뿐, like that. So you could either have 할 뿐 or 했을 뿐 for the verb 하다, whether you're working in the first, whether you're talking about the present tense or the past tense. So I only do something or I only did something, like that. Now this has the emphasis exactly like before. This also has that same emphasis of 그냥, like, 그냥 갔어요. I just went. 갔을 뿐이에요. All I did was go. It has the same nuance, but again, it's a little bit stronger than just saying, I only went. It's like, all I did was go there and nothing else. That's all I did. It kind of means that. So you can kind of replace it with 그냥, just like before, to mean just or only. Like, that's all I did, or that's all I do, kind of like that. And that's all. I mean, I already explained it before. There isn't anything else special with this form. So let's do an example sentence. Now, I will say that most of the time you're going to see this used with the past tense. The reason is because you're saying, that's all I did. It's more common to say that's all I did or I just did than it is to say that's all I do or I just do. It just tends to be used more often in the past tense. But I think, let me see. The outline I have here I have 4 sentence examples I'm going to give you. I think the worksheet has an example that's in the present tense though, if you want to see, but most of the time you're going to see it used in the past tense. Like I said, it's not like more natural in the past tense. It just tends to get used more often in the past tense to say, all I did was like that, versus all I do, or the only thing I do is, it just tends to get used more in the past tense. Okay, so here's the first example. Now, I'm giving you a warning. This sentence is going to be a little bit more complicated just because we have a verb in it, but I'll break it down. Okay. 하라는 것만 했을 뿐인데 상을 주셨어요. Don't worry, we'll break it down. 하라는 것 is 하라고 한 것. So, 하라고 한 or 하라고 하는 것. 하라고 is to say, do it. 하라고 하다, to say, do it. So, the things that someone said to do. So, the things someone told me to do. 하라고 하라는 것만. So, only the things that someone told me to do, like only the things you told me to do, for example. 하다, to do. 했을 뿐. So, all I did, the only thing I did, past tense, 했을, the only thing I did was only what you told me to do. So all I did was what you told me to do. 인데, so that's 이다. So normally the sentence could be over like, I only did what you told me to do. 하라는 것만 했을 뿐이에요. All I did is what you told me to do. Or 하라는 것만 했을 뿐이었어요. All I had done was what you had told me to do. But here it's 인데. So, but, 이에요. So 인데, but, 상을 주다, to give someone a 상. 상 is a prize, like a reward. 주시다 is to honorifically. So someone else gave me a prize. So all I did was what they told me to do, but they gave me an award. So all I did was I did what they told me to do, but they gave me an award. 하라는 것만, so only what they told me to do. 했을 뿐. All I did was what they told me, but 인데 상을 주셨어요. They gave me a prize. 하라는 것만 했을 뿐인데 상을 주셨어요. So all I did was what they told me to do, but they gave me an award. Okay. I'll leave this up for a minute. I have 3 more sentences. This is probably the most difficult one that we have for today. The other ones are a little bit simpler because they don't have this 하라는 part. these lessons are very easy for me to understand. The problem is I don't apply the knowledge too often. That is if you are not doing enough listening practice, then that's a common thing to happen, that you'll hear it, you'll listen to my lessons, you'll get them, you're like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. You take notes, you mastered it, but then you never use it and you forget it. Or you don't expose yourself to hearing it enough or reading or anything that you just kind of passes through your brain after a few weeks. So I really recommend, don't just study Korean. Even if you're doing self-study, don't just make book and lesson study your entire curriculum. Like, don't just do that. Those things are like the bones, but you still need a lot of like meat. You still need a lot of like dessert and other stuff to kind of keep you healthy and happy and motivated. And watching Korean shows, listening to podcasts, getting lots of listening practice. Those are things that will help the stuff that you're learning stick longer. Columbus, Ohio, welcome. Okay. Next sentence. Do I have space? I don't think I have in space. Could I have space? Wait, I have to rewrite this because I ran out of space here. I don't want to write really small, so. Yeah, let's write that a little nicer. Okay. 저는, so I, 그 사람, that person, 이름만 듣다, to only hear their name. 이름만, only name, 듣다, to hear. 들었을 뿐, so I only heard just their name. So for that person, all I heard was just their name. Notice that it's using man together with 뿐, just like our last example too. That's fine, because the 뿐 here is emphasizing only for the verb. So all I did was hear and nothing else. All I did was just hear only their name. So it's a different usage. 성별 is their gender. 성별이 뭔지, what it is, 도 몰라요. 뭔지 몰라요. I don't even know what their gender is. All I heard was their name. 저는 그 사람 이름만 들었을 뿐 성별이 뭔지도 몰라요. So again, you don't need to add 이다 unless you're ending a sentence. You can also optionally just use 뿐 if it's at the middle of a sentence. The only thing is nothing more than I heard just their name. You could have 인데, but it's optional. Do you want it to sound like you're saying it is, or just all I heard was their name? You're not saying it is the only thing I heard that's their name. So it's a slight nuance difference between adding ida or not if it's not at the end of a sentence, but you can do either one. 성별이 뭔지도 몰라요. I don't even know what their gender is. All I did was hear their name. All I heard was their name and nothing else. I don't even know what their gender is, like that. 저는 그 사람 이름만 들었을 뿐 성별이 뭔지도 몰라요. And that's a really common problem in Korea, because I don't know if it's most names, a lot of names in Korea, maybe most names, can be either gender. So you can have whatever, you don't know what the gender is of the person you're talking with if you just hear their name. So yeah, it's pretty common. Though there are some names that definitely do sound more feminine or more masculine like that. It doesn't mean you absolutely can't have someone with any name. So just keep that in mind. Okay. run out of space again. Okay. I barely fit it in there. I barely made that fit. 엄마가, so my mom, 여행 날짜, the trip dates, 만, so only the trip dates, 알려주다, to let someone know, literally, or to tell someone, 알려줬을 뿐, so 그냥 알려줬어요, basically is what you're saying. All she did, and nothing else, was tell me only the travel dates. Again, this doesn't have ida, it's just in the middle of a sentence, so it's optional. 구체적, concrete. Details. 구체적인 건, so things that are details. Basically, the details. 안 알려줬어요. She didn't tell me anything concrete, anything detailed, anything specific. All she told me was the dates of the trip. So my mom only told me the travel dates, but didn't tell me anything detailed. 엄마가 여행 날짜만 알려줬을 뿐 구체적인 건 안 알려줬어요. I'll leave this up for a minute, and we have one more sentence for this, but then I have another form we still have to cover. 빌리 선생님이 Divergent? 헝거 게임스 하에서 본 영화 헝거 게임 뿐이에요. 내가 본 건 헝거 게임 뿐이지. 배고픈 게임. 배고픈 game. Yes. Yeah, you're not the only one who has trouble knowing which gender the Korean first names are. The other thing is, even if you know someone's name, you cannot know what their name means unless you get the hanja for their name. If it's a name with hanja, and most names do have hanja associated with them, unless you ask the person directly, or you have a way to look up what are the actual hanja used in your name, you can't tell what a person's name means because there can be multiple meanings to every name. Like whether they choose to write it with this character or this character, it might be a regular name that has a regular meaning, but because they use different hanja for their name, it has a different meaning entirely. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky. In fact, I'll be making a that's one of the ideas I have for a podcast episode. Is I haven't written it yet, but I have an outline for it, is talking about Korean names, like making Korean names, but kind of like in-depth stuff. So not basic surface stuff, but like more in-depth, like what do Korean names mean? What are some rare names? Stuff like that. Okay. One more sentence for this form. Okay. Oh, it's never mind. Adding inde in the middle of a sentence just has a little bit more contrast with the next sentence, but again, it's optional. 자기 직전에. So this is right before, not just 자기 전에, before sleeping, but 직전에, immediately right before sleeping. 물을 마시다, to drink water. 물을 마셨을 뿐인데. So all I did was drink water right before going to bed, but 인데, I messed it up there. 덜, less. 피곤해지다, to get tired. So 덜 피곤해졌어요. I got less tired, even though all I did was just drink some water right before going to bed. So all I did was drink water right before I went to bed, and I felt less tired. 자기 직전에 물을 마셨을 뿐인데 덜 피곤해졌어요. Okay, I'll leave this up for a minute. I have one more form we still have to cover. 배고픈? Sure. Do you have a video on Korean names? Yes, I do. In the Korean FAQ series, I have a video on how you can make your own Korean name. And I give a bunch of tips for how to pick one and how to verify if it's good. 한 명뿐이지만 파스타 3인분 혼자서 먹을 수 있어요. Wow. 3인분? It's a lot. I could definitely eat 2 portions, and no matter where I go. I like this man with bun in the same sentence. It's a bit of a challenge, but in a good way for better understanding of how they're using together. Yeah, like I said, man is just only. It doesn't have that and nothing else nuance to it. Hakumin. Hakumin is one of the most masculine sounding names I know. Humin. Could be a really buff girl, though. So, I don't know. Never know. Hakumin, yeah, vacuuming. There are a lot of funny names, but yeah, you have to be careful though. If you actually meet someone that has a name that sounds funny, be respectful, because in Korea, making a joke of a person's name, even in a friendly way, could be seen as offensive, unless you're like really close with that person and you're in a relationship where you would be able to tease them like that anyway, like actually make fun of them, like roasting them sort of. Otherwise, you have to be kind of careful because it's seen as like a sensitive thing, poking fun at someone's name. In Korea, people will also easily change their names. Whereas in the US, I've only seen people change their names if they're like trying to escape like their last name, like they hate their ex-husband or ex-wife or whatever. They don't want their last name anymore. I guess it would be ex-husband. It wouldn't be ex-wife because you wouldn't take the name. But anyway, or something like that. Or like maybe they went to prison and they had to change their name, or maybe they're changing their name for like getting into like acting or something. Besides that, you don't really hear of people changing their names much in the US and other countries. In Korea, it's pretty common. I know several people that changed their name, like just for no reason. They didn't like their own name that much. Like, I'll just change it. Kind of like you change your iPhone. I do know a couple people who've changed their name that I'm friends with still. It's just a thing, but yeah, just they're more sensitive to that than they are in the US. In case anyone didn't know, it's the real name of Paku from Weak Hero. Okay, I don't know what that is. Do you know of a good book I could buy to learn Korean? Well, I happen to have a book just for you. Hold on, let me see if I have do I have this? Yes, there you go. You can check out my book, or I also have a video course. If you don't want to purchase a book, if you want to learn with a video, it's a little bit simpler than the books. It doesn't go as far as the books, but it's free. It's a 100-episode beginner course, also on my channel. Okay, so there's one more thing we haven't talked about. I said that we could use it with a noun, and I said that we could use it with a verb. But what about the verb ida? To be. We should be able to do this with bun, right? Yeah. Okay, so we get the stem. It ends with a vowel, so we attach a lir, and then bun. Yeah, exactly. And then ida, how is ida used? It's used after a noun, right? So we have this. We could say it's only a noun, or we could say only noun. So what's the difference between saying all it is a noun, or saying it's only a noun and nothing else? They sound kind of the same, right? They sound like identical. Literally, they are pretty much identical. It only is a noun, or it's only the noun and nothing else. But these have a different nuance that's important to know. If you use ir bun, it does have that same meaning, like all it is the noun and nothing else. But because it adds in that all it is feeling with the verb ida, to be, like it is that noun, because it adds in that noun again, the nuance of this one is a bit negative. For irpun, it's a bit negative. It kind of sounds like two things. It sounds like either the speaker's complaining about something, like all it is that, or you're saying it's less important, like, oh, all it is that. Don't worry, it's just that. So it has kind of that slightly, not a strong, but a slightly negative nuance, which means there are sentences where you have to use one or the other or it'll be wrong. Like if you're trying to say something is a waste of time, you're going to use this because you're like, it's just all it is it's a waste of time is what you're saying. You're not saying it is only a waste of time and nothing more is not what you're saying. You're saying all it is just a waste of time. So it has that stronger negative feeling when you use irpun, and regular pun does not have any sort of negative nuance. So a quick way to remember this is if you're complaining about something at all, use irpun after the noun. And that's it, and you'll be fine. If you're not complaining about something, do not use irpun, or it'll sound like you are complaining. So, let's do an example sentence. Oh, did anyone else hear that they're making another Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz? I'm going to totally see that. Okay, sorry, unrelated to the lesson, but I just had to say that. So the funny thing about this is the way that it got announced was it was sneaky. I think it was sneaky by the reporter. So originally someone leaked that it was in negotiations to make a new Mummy movie. Now negotiations means squat. It just means two companies are like, hey, you want to make another Mummy movie? I don't know. Okay, that gets reported. It goes into like some rumor mill that's like, a new Mummy movie in development. It's been confirmed that the companies are in talks to do a new Mummy movie. That's what the article originally came out, like months ago. And I saw that and I'm like, that means absolutely nothing. They're in talks to make like, I don't know, like a Gummy Bears movie. Like every single movie is in talks, right? Until it's made. I'm sure they have talks right now of a 6th Super Mario Brothers movie. But doesn't mean confirmed. It just means they're talking about it, right? But anyway, that's all that got reported. But a reporter met with Brendan Fraser in an interview and he's like, hey, so I heard that the new Mummy movie's coming out. Are you able to comment on how excited you are to be able to reunite with your cast and friends again? Like that was the question that got asked. And Brendan Fraser is like, oh yeah, like assuming that it must have already leaked that they're doing the new movie. Assuming that he's like, oh yeah, well, looking forward to it. It'll be great. This is the one I've always wanted to make this one. I think it was a trick though, because like it wasn't confirmed. It was like just rumored that they had been in talks. But then now, because the reporter phrased the question that way, now it's like, okay, now it's confirmed. So at least that's how I interpreted it, because I saw a few different articles about it. And then it's like suddenly it went from rumor mill to confirmed by the actor. And I'm thinking, I think it was a reporter just made a sneaky question to make him confirm it. Although it probably would have worked with anyone. And there was already like a little bit of a rumor going around. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to see that. The third one was pretty bad, but the first two are good. Okay. 그냥, so just 그냥. 취미, a hobby. 취미 일뿐. So all it is just a hobby. I'm kind of like, I'm downplaying it. I'm saying it's just. And the 그냥 just adds more emphasis to that. 그냥, just. 그냥 kind of has that just sort of feeling to it. 그냥 취미 일뿐인데. So all it is, it's just a hobby. But인데 돈이 들다 is to cost money. 돈이 들어요. 많이 들어요. It costs a lot of money. All it is just a little hobby, but it costs a lot of money. So you're downplaying it. You're saying it's less important, right? You're not necessarily complaining here, but you're saying it's less important. It's not. All it is just a hobby, but it costs a lot of money. 그냥 취미일 뿐인데 돈이 많이 들어요. This would be like if you got into Warhammer or something. I feel like oh, Cosma. Hold on, Cosma. Thank you. I think that's like a couple bucks, right? I'll just put $2 here. I think it's $2 or $2 to $3. 데뷔 돌아왔다니 기쁠 뿐이에요. I'm only be happy. Magic the Gathering. Yeah, and I kind of wish I didn't sell most of my valuable Magic the Gathering cards like a decade ago. I still have a few, but I used to have a lot more because it was like not popular anymore at that point. But oh well. I never got into Warhammer. I get that Gummy Bears reference. I'm so happy because I'm a gummy bear. Yeah, it's about $2. Yeah, thank you. Get 2 dabs. I'll give you like a point, like a half as well. 그냥 취미일 뿐인데 돈이 많이 들어요. It's just a hobby, but it costs a lot of money. So that 일뿐 makes it go from it's just a hobby to sounding more like it's just a hobby. It adds that emphasis on like you are saying it's less important, like you're downplaying it. Like all it is just a hobby. Hobby, right? You have that extra emphasis. But it costs a lot of money. 그냥 취미일 뿐인데 돈이 많이 들어요. Yes. Warhammer, Magic the Gathering. What else would go in there? What other hobbies are extremely expensive? Where you tell your parents that you're into that hobby and they schedule an intervention. What other hobbies would belong there? May says, thank you so much. I just bought 2 of your books. Awesome. Thank you. Hope you enjoy. And I'm here if or when you need me. Growing your own fruits and vegetables. Yeah, I did that during COVID. We grew a lot of our own stuff. You spend way more on like the what do you call that? Like the little fence, the wire cage or whatever around your food so rodents don't eat it or whatever, squirrels. And then you spend all the money on seeds and then getting like the special watering equipment and the pots for the plants and everything and the dirt and the feed, the plant food. Fixing old cars, that's true. Photography, oh my God, yeah. I do that as a hobby as well. I know that's unfortunately very expensive. Horseback riding, as it should be expensive. That's like a rich person's hobby. But if you're not rich, then yes, it'd be very expensive to do horseback riding. Yeah, fixing old cars would be expensive. Reviewing phones. I guess so. If you're buying all the phones for yourself, then yeah, that would be expensive. A lot of tech reviewers, though, don't buy the equipment. They just have a connection and they get it all for free because the companies want their reviews. Okay. 그렇게 하면, so if you do literally like that, if you do that, 시간, time, 낭비, a waste. 시간 낭비, a waste of time. 일뿐. All it is just a waste of time. So you're saying it's less important. You're complaining. If you do that, it's just going to be a waste of time. 도움이 안 돼요. So it's not helpful. Literally, it does not be help. 도움은 하나도, not even one. 하나도 안 돼요. So it's not even helpful a bit. All it's going to be is a waste of time if you do that. It's not going to be helpful at all. 그렇게 하면 시간 낭비일 뿐 도움은 하나도 안 돼요. So if you do that, it's only a waste of time. It's not helpful at all. 그렇게 하면 시간 낭비일 뿐 도움은 하나도 안 돼요. Magic Gathering is totally investment. I kid you not. I used to play Magic the Gathering when I was a teenager because my older brother's best friend was into it and he used to come over to our house a lot. Really cool guy. But so he got me into it and I was, it's fun to play. I didn't play it outside with other people. I just played it with him and my older brother sometimes. And one of my other friends also played. But anyway, at the local comic book store, I kid you not, the owner had a Black Lotus in a case, good condition, selling it for $300, which at the time was the most expensive card still. Nowadays, my goodness, I wouldn't need to teach Korean. I probably still would, but I wouldn't have to, I wouldn't have to do dabs for donations. I wouldn't have to have ads on my videos. It would be great. But yeah, I remember that $300. And I remember thinking, haha, $300 for a card. That's ridiculous. Who would ever buy that card? And I didn't buy it, of course. Why would I? I didn't have $300. Yeah, I just remember that. I saw it. I didn't get to hold it, but I remember I could see it right behind the glass. It was $300 and he had it on sale. I don't know I'm sure he sold it, but I don't know how much he ended up selling it for. For those of you who don't know, that card is now probably worth, I don't know, it could be anywhere from like 30 to 100 grand, depending on the condition. Horseback riding, miss it so much, or at least was. Yeah, maybe. But I used to buy Paxer Revised for $7. Wow. I still have all of my revised. I still have the I think that was what, 5th? I'm trying to remember because I haven't played it since I was probably 14. But I have a big box of a ton of these like worthless. I mean, they're probably worth a little bit now, but they weren't very valuable because Revised was like reprinting a lot of the older cards with like a different border. And I have like a big box of those. But I only have a few of my actual older cards left. I think I have a couple Demonic Tutors left. I don't have my Mox Diamonds. I sold all those as soon as oh yeah, that was a collateral from losing my job when I first started my YouTube channel because I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. And all I had was the hope that people would buy my first Korean book. So I had to sell. That's when I actually sold all of the older Magic the Gathering cards. I had a Chaos. Was it called Chaos Orb? Something. It was like, I think it was Chaos Orb. It was from like Alpha or Beta. And it was, at that time, it was a $50 card. I think I did get $50 for it. Now it'd probably be a few hundred. And I sold some of the lands I had. I had some like original dual lands, which were good. You can like tap them for either types of, anyway. These are like, pretty valuable cards at the time, but I had to sell them because I didn't have any money. And I was just lucky I could get anything for them at the time. Now they would be worth a little bit more. But yeah, and I think I sold Mox Diamonds at that time. We're going on eBay for like $30 a piece. I think I sold 4 of them for $30 each. So it wasn't terrible. Like I needed that money. Okay. Now we're talking about the wrong topic here. Everyone who doesn't play Magic Gathering is like, what's going on, Billy? I thought this was a Korean class. You thought wrong. You thought wrong. Okay, one more sentence. But the good news is I still have my original deck. I did not sell. Actually, I did sell the Mox Diamonds in there, which I did have. But besides that, the deck is still mostly complete. I still have my original deck that I played with for Magic the Gathering. There weren't any like super valuable cards in there anyway. I had a poison deck. So if anyone knows what that is, it was a way to like slowly attack the other player. And if they had 10 poison chips, they would automatically lose. So I was able to beat other people who would like, they'd have like different kind of like quirky decks that would have different traits that would, some of them would like heal themselves a lot, or other ones to cast lots of spells or lots of monsters. But poison was an unaffected one, and most people were sleeping on it. So they didn't know that I'm going to come out with this little poison deck, because you don't expect to worry about that effect. It was not a popular effect. But you get 10 of them on the player and you win. So I had a, deck to get all these little poison characters, monsters, and get them poisoned. So anyway, I still have that deck mostly. I have space here to go to the end. Okay, I do. But yeah, I think I had the only poison deck that I knew, at least at my junior high, and in the local tournament area. I was the only one I knew that had a poison deck, because it wasn't a very good strategy. But I did win some games. And those were fun. Okay, let's check the chat for a second. Friend of mine had such a premium collection, he sold it to provide a down payment on his first house. That was my older brother. But he didn't sell it. He gave it away to his friend. Sad if I think about it. But yeah, he had a lot. Yeah, the poison strategy is actually pretty good. I like it. Like I said, I still have almost all of the deck originally, because there weren't any like super valuable cards in the deck. There were only a couple that were decently valuable that I did sell, but it still works without them. Like I think I had a bunch of more demonic tutors, which lets you just search for your deck for any card you want, which was really useful for getting the exact poison cards I wanted at certain times. But even without that, the deck works fine. And the other stuff is like, it's a bunch of stuff from like the early editions, like a bunch of old cards, because it was a feature that they stopped doing, that they never banned from tournaments, but they stopped promoting it. So it's like all of these cards were kind of old, but they just weren't like the most valuable ones. They were common cards from those older decks. But yeah, I remember being able to beat a few really powerful decks occasionally with it, and that was fun. Even though I knew I wouldn't win a tournament, it was fun to think like, I'm going to defeat a deck that will never be defeated by anyone else, because I have something they're not preparing for. And yeah, it was also really annoying to whoever I played with. So yeah, one of my other friend, my brother's older friend, had a dragon deck. I remember, because he liked dragons, so he puts as all the dragons he can find in his deck. And the only purpose of his deck was to play his dragons. He just liked to play the dragons and attack you with the dragons. It didn't win very much, but it was fun that he really liked to put his dragons out. 제가 가수. Kasu is a singer. 이긴 해요. So I am a singer. 이기는. So as for being a singer, well, I am. 해도. So even though I am a singer is the nuance. 그냥 just. Just. 사람일 뿐. All I am is nothing more than just a person. So even though I am a singer, yeah, all I am is just a person. Again, 일 뿐. It's kind of like you're saying it's less important. I'm just a person. Like that. 평범하다. Normally. 평범하게. Normally. 대하다. To treat someone. 대해주세요. Please treat me normally. All I am is, even if I am a singer, just treat me normally, like that, because I'm just a person. So even if I am a singer, I am just a person. So please treat me normally. Yeah, even though I am a singer, I'm still just a normal person. So treat me normally, kind of like that. 제가 가수이긴 해도 그냥 사람일 뿐인데 평범하게 대해주세요. So this would be something that your favorite singers would want to tell you. I might be a singer. Even if I'm a singer, I'm just a normal person, right? I'm just a person. So please treat me normally, is probably what they would say if their managers let them. Played on the nation circuit? What? What are you talking about? No, no one said that. Even though I am a taebor, just treat me normally. Yes, exactly like that. 제가 재벌이긴 해도 그냥 사람일 뿐인데 평범하게 대해주세요. So even though I might be a taebor and extremely attractive and worth millions of dollars, my mother is controlling of my life and will never accept you because you are not rich like we are. But I will betray her and date you regardless and extend this relationship at least 22 episodes until we finally get married and my mom comes around and decides to support me. But it's too late. I've already sold my shares in the company. So I give up that lifestyle and we'll live a nice, happy life in a regular apartment, but I'll still have millions of dollars because I still have all those stocks. And we'll live happily ever after, but we won't show any of that because it ends right before we get married or even get engaged. In fact, the ending is like, all we'll do is maybe hold hands. That's the most I could possibly promise. And we'll like skip happily off in the distance. And I won't show any of that. But you'll just have to assume we lived happily ever after. Even though the uncle who they introduced in episode 5 still hates me and is trying to kill me, but we never got back to his story because the actor actually got arrested. So they never got to bring him back in the show. So despite all that, it's a happy ending. Now, there's a little bit more to bun. We haven't talked about like bun만 아니라 or anything else like that, but I'm going to make that into a separate lesson because that will go really long if we start including like other versions of bun. That's all there is to bun. So it just means only and nothing more, or just and nothing else. And it can be used with both nouns and verbs, as well as 일뿐 with nouns, which kind of sounds like you are either complaining about something or saying that it's less important. And that's it. Let me take a thumbnail. Okay, that's my thumbnail. If you want more example sentences, we only went over like 10 full example sentences in this lesson, but I have a worksheet you can download from my Patreon right now that has 11 extra example sentences. So it has more than we even covered today, but I'd recommend that if you want to like really get some more exposure to this form, because it has other, you'll see it in other sentences, but that's pretty much all it is. Besides that, we have the 3rd episode of my podcast will be coming out this Thursday. It'll be about, you can actually listen to it already if you're one of my Patreon members, and it'll be about mythology. There are transcripts for all the Patreon episodes, all the podcast episodes on Patreon that you can download. That's pretty much it though. So I'm going to take questions for maybe the next 20 minutes and then we'll go for today. That's our lesson. Yeah, I don't think anyone knows my older brother though. He did play Magic, but he didn't play Nation Circuit. He didn't get that far. He did have a really good deck though. He did win a couple local tournaments, I actually remember. So he got a few cool like prizes for that. His deck was based on, I can't remember what the card was. There was like, this was back in probably 2000 or 1999, sometime around then. Because I got into it, I think it was like 99, I think is when I got into Magic the Gathering, 98 or 99. And my older brother took advantage of a card that had just come out that lets you recover all of your health. And I can't remember the name of the card, but it had like angels on it. It was probably from like 5th edition or something like that. And it was like a cheat card. It was way overpowered and they probably banned it in tournaments later. But at the time it was accepted. It was okay. So it was basically, he had a way to search the deck for this card that he needed to activate a cheat card that lets you just recover all of your health at once. And then he would cast these, and then the rest of his deck was focused on getting out one really powerful card that would just kill you. But he won several tournaments and it was really cheap. Like no matter, you'd keep hitting him and he'd just recover everything. And yeah, it was really annoying. But he did pretty good. Oh, Sigominko. Thank you. Now I have room to actually write your name up here. Yeah, I remember I really did enjoy playing that with my friends though, just because it was kind of like fun that you can come up with all these different combinations for cards. But I haven't seen it since then, so I think they added a bunch of weird stuff since then. I kind of lost interest after that. Beacon of Hope, maybe. Hold on, let me check. I'll know it if I see the card title. Let me see. Magic the Gathering. No, it wasn't this. Um, Beacon of Immortality? I can't. It doesn't look like that. It didn't look like that in the picture. But anyway, I just remember he had this card. It wasn't even that rare or anything. It was like if you had a pack, it would have been your most valuable card in that pack. But as a card, it wasn't really a rare, like hard to get card, especially more than others. It was just like your standard rare card at the time. So I don't remember. It doesn't look like that picture that I see, because this was an old card. Keep in mind, this would have been from like 99, maybe 2000 at the latest that the card came out. Train's head is made simple. That's why you played the poison deck. Yeah, it actually wasn't specifically to beat him. It's just because I liked the little scorpion. They had little scorpion creatures that were just really weak, but when they attack, they would give a poison. They also had a character called, I think it was Sukwada Assassin or something. Why do I remember all this stuff? It was a little card also that was really cheap that would just attack for like 1 health, but it would do a poison counter also. So I had all these little poison characters. I have actually the whole deck right underneath my stairs right now. I should probably get it out sometime. But anyway, oh, Sherry Russell. Thank you so much. Oh, you know what? I also forgot to do Sigominko's dabs. So I'll do those too. One or two L. Okay. Okay, first let me do Sigominko's dabs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let me do Sherry Russell's dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Did I do an extra? Whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew. I haven't done those in a while. Tongi is simultaneous. No, Tongshi. Literally, Tong, same, and Shi would be time. But yeah, as to your question, the poison deck would take his deck down because you can't do anything about poison unless you happen to expect that and you had, there were some cards that could heal your poison. And I think I actually put one of those in my deck as well, just for fun, so that in case someone else did it to me, I would have a way to get rid of it. But anyway, yeah, no one was really planning for it. Like even at the time, it was already outdated and kind of stupid just because of how long it takes. But because I built my entire deck around that, it worked pretty good. There's a magic group here in Seoul at Elves and Espresso and Itaewon that meets Friday nights. Oh, that sounds cool. Alex is his younger. Yeah, Alex wasn't a Magic the Gathering player. I think he had a... I'm trying to think if he played at all. He might have had a small deck, but really it was my older brother who played, who you guys have never met. Exercising. Seeing Billy do 500 dabs for a $500 donation would be hilarious. It's happened. I got for my... Was it my 600,000? Yeah, I think it was for my 600,000 live stream. A username Evolvasaur. I haven't seen him here in a little bit, but I think he gave a $600 donation for when I hit 600,000 subscribers. And I did 600 dabs in that live stream. I think that was the one where I did the dabs in front of a tree in a big field. I can't remember if it was that place that I did them in or if I was somewhere else, but yeah. Can you please explain the mystery of how Mogul Manheo came to mean it's edible, it's all right? So Mafaz, actually check my live stream list. I'll post a link. I did a live stream all about that and I explained how it works. But I'd say watch that just because it's specifically about that exact form. Can I buy your book from your site or through Amazon? Yes, both. It's on my site. If you want to get the PDF version, you can get it from my site, and it'll be it's a little bit cheaper if you buy the pack. But if you want to get the physical book, that would be on Amazon, because they bought the printing company that I originally used for my books. So it's not made from Amazon. It was made from, I'm the publisher, but Amazon purchased the printing publisher that prints the book. So that's the only place you can buy the print book. But if you want to support Amazon less, you can purchase it from my book using my affiliate link through my website. That's one option. Or you can buy it from any other retail store in print, because Amazon gets less profit that way. Although I make less that way. It's okay. That's fine. So yeah, anyway, you get it is fine, as long as it's an actual store. Don't get it don't buy it from someone like reselling a file or something like that. Angelic course sounds about right. Let me check. I have to check. Yes. Wait, was it? No. Hold on. No, it wasn't this. Okay. I'll have to ask my brother what it was, because it was, at the time, I remember it was just an average but a rare card. Like one of those cards you're like, oh, that's cool. But it wasn't like something that's crazy cool. It was like, oh, that's a really good one. The timing on this looks right, but the picture doesn't look right. I don't remember this picture. But it's possible. Foil? No, it wasn't this. It's also a card that was available in foil. I think I remember because he had a foil of it. So his was like a good version of that rare card. I might just have to ask him now, because I'm curious. What was that card you used in your deck that was super cheap? Like, do you remember what your deck was? Let me just text. I'm just going to text him. I don't know if he'll reply. Let's see. When was the last time I messaged? Do I have him in here? Okay, hold on one sec. Okay, what was the name of that MTG card you used to heal in your cheap deck? Can't remember. Cards you used. Okay, I just texted him. We'll see if he replies. If he replies, I'll let you know. I'm curious about that too. Okay. Oh, does 동의 mean synonym? So you're thinking of synonym. There are two words that are synonyms for the word synonym, and they are 동의어 and 유효. Yeah, it wasn't this card, the Magic Gathering. Let me see. Hopefully he'll reply. He'll know. Okay, so yeah, 동의, literally same meaning word. So these words both mean synonym. 동의어 and 유효. Hey brother, I'm on stream. Yeah. Yeah, the worth doing live. And you don't have to look through hundreds. You can just do a Control F to search the screen for all of them. I've done now, I counted over 216. Yeah. Or so, maybe 217 live classes. Not live streams. I've done more live streams, but like actual, like this, like today, where they have an outline. I think today's like my 217th or something like that. Come on. Reply. This is so important. I know he's going to remember it. Because he played it competitively. I didn't. I did play in a couple tournaments for fun, but he did it like more competitively. Like he really tried to research and practice a lot. Hey Billy, can you create a Korean language bingo game with Korean drama phrases? Oh gosh, what would be the middle? What would be the free space? The free space would probably be 사랑해요 or 미안해요. One of those two would be the free space. Something about the word 재벌 would be also close to the center. Like cancer would have to be one of them. The like the mother-in-law, things like I could never accept your relationship is another one. Yeah, there are a lot of like expressions that would probably work for that. Someone does something ridiculous with food, like throws food or a drink. That would be another one. Like spilling something or splashing water on someone's face. Anything like that. So, or throwing an object would also work. Come on, you're going to leave me hanging? I know he'll reply. I don't know when he's going to reply, though. I don't know if he's busy right now. I could call him, but... 찬성. 동의 is to agree. If you're talking, that's a different word. That's not 동의. This one's 의 for meaning. 동, same, 의, meaning. The word 동의하다 is a different 의. So that word means to agree. So in that case, 의 means 의견. So opinion or thought. So literally same opinion. So 동의해요. I have the same opinion, basically. And there's another word, 동감. 감 meaning emotion. So 동감 is the same emotion. So I feel the same way as you, basically. 동의 and 동감. First aid kit getting brought out for a life-threatening paper cut wound would be on K-drama. But yeah, I think what you're talking about is like an injury that like a serious injury that is actually no big deal, I think would work. And then a non-serious injury that is a big deal. Like the girl gets pushed and then she goes on life support. Or the guy gets like stabbed in the arm, but then he's walking up, he's like, are you okay? And he picks up the girl like 10 minutes later. Like that, those kind of things I think would also work. These are like bad drama tropes though. You shouldn't be watching dramas with these kinds of tropes in them. Yeah, I don't think he's going to reply today. If you ask me next week, maybe if he replied, I'll tell you what he said. 찬성 is agreeing, but 동의 is simply to approve of something, to consent to something. Like literally I said 동의 is same opinion, agree. 동감 is same feeling, agree. 찬성 is like, woohoo, I agree. Yes, I agree with you. I support that. Like that sort of agreement. But I recommend if you're ever trying to find the difference between multiple words, here's what I do. Because what I do is I never check the English section of Naver because it's pretty useless for that. Because there are always going to be multiple words that have the same meaning. So here's what I do is I go to Naver and I'll search the first word I'm curious about. So let's do this together. Let's say I want to find the difference between 동의 and 찬성. Let's do this live. I would go to Naver Dictionary, which is DIC for dictionary.naver.com. So if we go, actually I think it's DICT, but if you do DIC, it'll also take you there. The same thing, DIC or DICT. So if we do, let's just see what it says. 동의. I already said what it is, but let's see. 동의 means 같은 뜻, which is like the same will as someone. 같은, like never mind, that's the wrong one. This is the one we want. Okay, here I found it. 의견을 같이 함. So having the same opinion as someone. 동의. There we go. So that's agreeing. But let's look at 찬성. And if you can't do this, you can actually throw the definition. You can throw the definition into ChatGPT and it'll give you a decent translation if you're trying to compare their definitions. But do it from the Korean in the dictionary. Don't do it from the English because the English will always be very simplistic and vague. But the Korean will be the exact definition and like all the different versions. If we search 찬성, it says 어떤 행동이나 견해. So like an act or an opinion, like a view, 제안, or like a suggestion. 따위가 옳거나 좋다고. So saying that 판단하여 수긍함. So agreeing and judging that something is correct or good. So someone's opinion or action or idea is good and agreeing with it. That's 찬성. It's not simply having the same agreeing. It's not having just the same opinion as someone, but it's saying, yes, I agree versus I agree. If you want to simplify it a lot. So the English definition might be agree for both of them. And there are going to be there are more words. 수긍하다. It gives you another word for agree as well. And we search that. Let's see what that says. 수긍하다 is to recognize that something is correct. 옳다고 인정하다. So that's also agree, but it's like to think it's right. So to approve would probably be better a definition of 수긍. So it's approving and judging that something is correct and good, as is 찬성. Like, oh, that opinion, that idea, that's correct. That's a good idea. So that's sort of approval, like, yes, versus 동의, which is like, oh, I have the same opinion as you. My opinion is the same, literally. So it's the same English meaning, but a different nuance between the two words. I'm still hoping my brother replies, but I don't think he read it. He'll see it. He'll reply later. Reverse damage is a rare from 6th edition that was released in 99. It wasn't reverse damage. 네, 좋아요. 찬성하다. 구찬성. Hotel de Luna flashbacks because that was the male lead's name. Now I wonder which English word has the most Korean words. How many ways can you say because? Too many. At least a couple dozen. My latest free course, the Sentence Connectors course, you can find it on my channel, as well as I have a book, Korean Sentences Made Simple. I believe that covers like 24 ways to say because. In fact, it's the only topic that has 2 chapters, and they're all about one word, because it would be too much to put in one chapter. But yeah, there are a lot. No, I'm trying to think what card it would have been, because it wasn't a card that I ever used. It wasn't reverse damage. It was just really cheap that if you activated it, it like gave you back a ton of health or something like that. And he used it all the time. And his deck was all built around playing that card and using it. And that was it. And then everything else was just to slowly kill you. And then he had this one really powerful card that he would attack you with if he was lucky to get that out. But besides that, it was like he just keeps surviving by recovering his health. Yeah, ChatGPT, I don't recommend it for like asking Korean questions because it'll make stuff up. But for something like translate this, it does a great job. I mean, I'm not surprised either because machine translation has been usable for a very long time. Before ChatGPT came around, there was PapaGo. For like over a decade, you could use PapaGo and it makes sense. It's not going to be natural, but it would always make sense. So you could use PapaGo, you could use ChatGPT, whatever you want, just to translate that definition into English. And it'll be pretty good, I think. But then don't ask it, what's the difference between these 2 words? It's going to make something up. It's really going to make it up because it doesn't actually think. It's better that you are the one that does the judging of what the difference is between the words. But anyway, that's what I do. Just if I ever see a word and I can't figure out how is that different than this, I always search it in Korean. And like I said, if I can just read it in Korean, but if you can't do that, ChatGPT works perfectly fine for that sort of thing. I would give it my approval to use for that. Claude is somewhat better. I'd still double check, but it's better than GPT. For translations, for Korean, ChatGPT, from what I've seen, is better for Korean translation. I know that for like recognizing Korean, it has a better engine for translating stuff. For English to Korean, it's kind of okay. It's a little bit awkward, but it'll make sense. Korean to English, though, I think it does a pretty good job. But yeah, I haven't tried Claude. I can't tell you. What I've heard from other people's Koreans I know say they prefer ChatGPT's Korean over the other ones. Is Magic the Gathering like Yu-Gi-Oh? No, Yu-Gi-Oh came out It was out at the similar time, although it came out later originally. That was kind of in competition with Pokemon card games, although it came out a little bit later. Yu-Gi-Oh was more just focused on your creature cards, I believe. I never played it, but it was like more focused on creature cards and less where Magic the Gathering was kind of like you manage your creatures if you want, your magic, your mana if you want, your spells, your instances. I think they're probably the same now, sorceries and instances, but anyway, at that time they're separate. And then you manage like all of these different aspects yourself, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh is more like simplified. Like, here are your creatures, get your creatures out to attack them. There you go. Like, make your strategy around what creatures you use and when. Whereas Magic the Gathering's like, you want to play a game without any mana and just doing this? Go ahead. Like, it kind of lets you do whatever you want. Do I need to set up an account to use the dictionary? You do not. You don't need to sign up. What it's asking you for is if you're trying to save words. So if you have an account on Naver, then you can save your dictionary words that you look up, and you can create lists of words that you want to review. But you can also just do that manually by putting them into Anki or something. So I do not sign in. I'm not signed in on my Naver dictionary at all. It's just, using it as is. Oh, I was hoping he'd reply. Still never replied. I'm so curious what that card is. I'll find it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to post it on my Discord channel. So if you want to know what the card is, check out my Discord channel. Maybe later today or tomorrow. I'll figure it out. I'll put another link to my Discord here. Okay, any other questions? Discord. Okay. MTG Arena. Yeah, you're talking about the mobile one. I never got into that. There have actually been a few Magic the Gathering computer games. I just never got into them. I like the tactile feedback of actually playing the cards and having to collect them, like actually having to go and get them was part of the experience, because you can't just make up your own. I don't know. I just didn't like the computer experience. I'm like, that's not really fair if you just make up your deck of whatever cards in the universe that you want, because there are always going to be like more valuable cards or more rare cards that you can't get. I mean, why not just fill your deck with Black Lotuses? I mean, I know it's maximum 4, but you just put 4 Black Lotuses, 4 Mox Diamonds, right? There's some others. Like all these cards that they have to ban from tournaments because people would copy them or whatever. Yeah, brother's dropping the ball when you need him. I know. He'll always reply like right away, but he's not replying to this one. But I'll figure it out. I'll let you know when he does reply. I'll call him if he doesn't, because I'm really curious what that card was. Buying physical, nowadays it's too expensive. Like I said, when I used to collect, it was about $3 for a pack. So it was totally doable. Like my older brother, multiple times, he would buy a box. He bought boxes several times of them. Because if you buy a box, you're guaranteed to get like one really good card. And he wasn't doing it to sell them, but he was just doing it to make sure he got the cards that he wanted. But yeah, like it wasn't that much. I think it was like $3 or something to buy a pack at that time. Yeah, take care, Claire Wilson. My brother is not watching. He does not subscribe to my channel or watch my channel. He doesn't even know I have a podcast yet. From what I've heard, most non-native English speakers are exposed to English early. Yes. As an older American, your only exposure to other languages was a school elective. That's true. Yeah, Koreans who learn English have already been exposed to English from infancy. That doesn't mean they speak it, though. They have to go out of their way to actually practice it and listen to it a lot. But everyone has it in their, it's in their brains, kind of sleeping in the back of their heads. It's like their second language, I say. So it's a different experience for someone learning English from Korea than it is for us learning Korean. Because for us, it's like truly a second language that we have to learn. But for Koreans, it's more like they've already learned it, but they can't use it unless they've been practicing it and being exposed to it. But it's like, it's there. Like there's all the structure waiting to be filled in. And then for us, we have to build the structure to begin with. So yeah. Hey, Billy, can you pronounce okay? Oh, I see what you're doing. Saiyan. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for for 1,000엔 basically. What's that, like $8 or something now? Like Spanish for us. Kind of, yeah. If you grow up in a place with like some areas in Southern California where you just hear Spanish all the time, like me as well, like you just hear it all the time. So if someone teaches you, like, oh, you can say like, mi llamo es Billy, you know, like you can remember, oh, that means my name is Billy because you've been exposed to it so much. You know, yo quiero Taco Bell. Oh, that must mean I want. Yo quiero estudar Korean. Is that I want to learn Korean? I have no idea. I don't know the verb for study. I'm just taking it from French and thinking, is that how they say it in Spanish? Anyway, but you kind of have like some of the structure set up for Spanish ready to go. But like that multiplied by several times. And yeah, it's kind of the same idea. Can I speak Spanish? No. Or non. Solamente inglés. Por favor. But you get a little bit of structure kind of there always. I'm from Yuma originally, so Spanish accent is ingrained. Yes. Yeah, and the reason I say that is just because I feel a lot of people get really hard on themselves because they see other Koreans that speak such good English, and they'll say, oh, you know, I only learned it in the last like 6 months. I just started watching Friends, or I just did this, and I moved to the US and it took me 3 hard months to learn how to speak English, and they'll speak it like fluently. Like, and then you'll think, oh wait, how come I can't do that with Korean? It's like, no, don't. You're comparing apples to oranges. They still did a good job. Like, commend them, pat them on the back, like, good job for getting that far. Not anyone is going to just learn English by simply moving to the US for a few months. But it's you're comparing something different. ¿Dónde es la biblioteca? Yes, like exactly. ¿Dónde es la chihuahua? Yo comí una manzana. I can't even remember what that means. This is a manzana. I don't know what that is. Is there apples to oranges expression in Korean? No, not that I can think of. I could express it as just, you wouldn't compare them, but I'm not sure if there's an expression like that. Things that you can't compare. 서로 다르다 is probably what comes to mind quickly, but it's not an expression. It's just, I mean, it's not an idiom. I mean, it's just a regular expression. Let me check. Let me do Naver. Let's check on Naver Dictionary. See if there's an apples to oranges expression. Let's see. Nope. 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 There might be an expression that has a similar kind of idea, like comparing things that shouldn't be compared, but there's nothing that comes up on Naver Dictionary right away. So there's nothing obvious, is what I'll say. Doesn't mean there isn't a way to express that, but we need a podcast episode on Korean expressions and idioms. Yes. Well, each episode has idioms and expressions, and I'm going to start including more idioms in the word of the day section, so don't worry about that. 이거 그거 아니라, or 이거 그거 아니야? Isn't this that? Como, which I believe is eat. Ah, okay, is that eat? Manzana is apple, so I eat one apple. Yo comí una manzana. So I eat an apple. Okay. Right, because yo is I, that's right. Like yo quiero, like I want Taco Bell, like that. Okay. 비교 안 되지. Yeah, you can't really compare it. 비교도 안 돼. You can't really compare it. That makes sense. 사과부터 오렌지까지. From apples to oranges. Sounds like a location, like the city of apples up to the city of oranges, kind of like that. Yeah. So I think really don't compare yourself to others is good advice for Korean. Like, I mean, especially like for me, like I was living in Korea at the time. So I had like the best possible environment to practice Korean. So if I tell someone like, oh, after 6 months, I was speaking like basic Korean. I wasn't speaking well, but I was speaking basic Korean. Then someone else studying might say, wow, Billy, you're good at languages. I've been learning Korean for a year and I can't even put together sentences. It's not comparable. I was living there. And at the same time, I was also pushing myself really hard every day to practice. That you in America or in another country, not that you only have like maybe one Korean friend you can practice with or something. It's not a good comparison. And you could be doing very well, but because you're looking at me or you're looking at a Korean speaking English, you're going to think that you're not doing well. Now, what is useful though is still taking a step back and thinking about like, how am I studying? Like, am I actually using my time well? Like that sort of thing is useful, but not like, oh man, I can't believe I'm still not good. Like that's not really useful because you can't just say that with only looking at how many hours you've been studying, how many days you've been studying, or how many months. It's more of what are you actually doing to study? So like that could be something you could talk with a tutor about. Like, hey, I'm studying this. Or actually that would be something you'd have to talk with a teacher, like someone who actually knows how to teach that they could tell you. Like that's something I do sometimes when people ask me or when people book me for like tutoring sessions is they'll just talk with me like, here's what I'm doing. How am I doing? What should I improve? What should I focus on? And then goodbye. Like I never see them again. But I do get people scheduling me for tutoring sessions sometime just to do that. But that would be a more useful conversation, not like, how come I'm still not speaking? It's been this long. Just because you can't really compare. It's a different situation. Okay. I don't think my brother's going to reply, at least not right now. I'll let you know in Discord later if I figure out what card it was. So that's the lesson for today. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll have another live stream lesson next Sunday. And I'll see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.